Hello, this is Brett from SurvivalComms. Today we're going to test 75 ohm RG-6 coax cable in a 50 ohm two-way radio environment. Now, a decade ago I made a few videos on this, but I have much better test equipment now and think it's worthwhile to revisit the topic and gather some data. You know, RG-6 isn't just for cable TV anymore, and it is very cheap compared to 50 ohm coax, more often than not free. On initial glance, it is equivalent to LMR 240, which costs $1.20 a foot, so what do you have to lose, right? Let's discuss common cable construction of RG-6 cable. On the bench here we have three builder grade varieties of common RG-6 cable. This cable here is a quad shield cable. Now, it's a quad shield cable because it has four shields. It has a limited aluminum braid, followed by a layer of foil, followed by another limited aluminum braid, and then followed by a foil shield that does not adhere to the foam dielectric, and this encapsulates the center conductor. These two variants here are standard RG-6 cable, and they have two shields. They have a more robust aluminum shield in both examples, and the foil adheres to the foam dielectric, and they both have a solid 18 gauge conductor, just like this one's 18 gauge as well. The reason we are featuring the gray jacketed cable here is that it contrasts with the other two cables by virtue of it having a solid copper center conductor, which is considered superior to the other two cables, which use copper coated steel or copper clad steel, also known as CCS center conductors, which are the most prevalent types in today's market. Now, the way I determine if the center conductor in an unknown cable is copper coated steel or solid copper, I simply use a magnet. First and foremost, if you are interested in cabling your receivers and over-the-air signal monitoring equipment with RG-6, I think you'll be pleased and save yourself a lot of money. The following data is a broad overview of my opinion and observations of RG-6 cable and transmit service, and the data shown here are specifications of RG-6 cable, or a generic RG-6 cable, considering there's so many variations, being used in a 75 ohm environment. We will be testing the RG-6 cable in a 50 ohm environment in this study and record what we observe. These are the loss numbers that show LMR 240 is eclipsed by RG-6 a bit in the receive domain, but as we can see here, there are no real transmit power handling specifications for RG-6, so we'll see how it stacks up in testing. Additional limiting factors in transmit service are the RF connectors for RG-6 being primarily type F and B and C types for video service, which work great in receive, but lack of objective transmit data from the manufacturers puts us into the "it worked for Jim Bob but blew up Llewellyn's" radio territory. Yes, you can use the AI generated 170 volts RMS to 300 volts RMS spec that places it in the window of 570 to 1.8 kilowatts, but I'm going to play it safe and keep it under 100 watts. The data shown here comes from my 1954 Amphenol cable selector calculator, and it says 570 watts at 40 megacycles, but the cable of that time used a copper weld center conductor, a silvered copper inner shield, and a copper outer shield with a solid polyethylene dielectric. With aluminum braid and foil, your mileage will likely vary from the data shown here. The connectors I use are Klein BNC and Type F compression connectors, and they are very simple to install with their tools, which are not expensive. The cost of each connector is less than $3 for a BNC, and the Type Fs are less than $2 each. These connectors are specified for inside use and need to be sealed if using them outdoors. One thing you will note when testing a 75 ohm cable on 50 ohm equipment is the oscillations shown here due to impedance mismatch, commonly called ringing. It is easy to say, well, calibrate at the end of the cable, and this is what you should do if you're measuring an unknown load. But in this case, we are testing a mismatched cable into a load that matches our equipment, as we would be in using this cable for land mobile radio. And simply substituting our 50 ohm load with a mismatch load doesn't correct the oscillations, but it does smooth them out. Zooming in, you will see that this also affects our return loss. The rough rule way I contend with this as far as measurement goes is to average our markers and come up with a rough estimate of 1.71 in this example. But again, that is rough rule. And as you will see, as we test our two markers of 25 and 28 megahertz with a transmitter and a meter, that the variations, although not as profound, continue. Now, this certainly isn't the end of the world for using 75 ohm cable in the 50 ohm system, but it is worth noting. We're at 25 megahertz now. Forward power is 65 watts. Reflected power is 0.75 watts. Now we've substituted our feed line for the 50 photo quad shield. Forward power 65 watts. Reflected power 2.25 watts. Now let's repeat our test on 10 meters forward power. 50 watts. Reflected power like 4.3 watts. Let's repeat our measurement with another instrument. We're at 25 meg. And we're on the control. And we're 1.2 there. Let's go to 10 meters. Now we're at 10 meters. And we're exactly the same, about 1.2. Set our calibration. And at 25 meg, we're 1.5 to 1. Stepping up to 28 megahertz. And we're about 1.9 to 1. Now let's do a cable torture test. We're going to do a 1 minute full power transmission. You'll be able to see the reflected power here. We're going to see if it climbs up starting now. 30 seconds. No heat in the cable. Connectors. Load is hot. And our minute's up now. Now we are going to feed a couple standard 50 ohm antennas with RG-6. We will start with the Diamond X50 on VHF fed with 50 ohm cable. Substituting this cable with RG-6 gets us this. Not a huge change. Next we will sweep my ZS6 BKW with 50 ohm cable. And now we substitute it with RG-6, and this is our sweep. Zooming in on the bands of interest are 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters, 17 meters, 12 meters, and finally 10 meters. Now let's sweep our cable and see how our example RG-6 quad shield compares to the specifications. This is a one-port test of 50 feet of cable terminated in an Onritsu T on the open port. Again, we see our ringing, but fortunately the instrument averages the result over the swept range for us. Our resulting numbers are a little less than spec, with the exception being 700 to 800 megahertz, but the spec was at 900, so not a big surprise. I hope this helps. This is Brett from SurvivalComms. Until next time.